We have a bonus round. We're going to do it now. It's called the St. Jude Challenge. So we brought this in last time because one of the things that happens as part of the Podcastathon is we started this last year, we're continuing it this year. It is Myke versus Steven. We will be competing in a variety of games and activities during the Podcastathon and some things before. And considering we have games here, why would we not contribute points towards this? So there are going to be points on the line for this round. There is also one draft point for the winner. It will be adjudicated by upgrade scorecard keeper Zach Knox because Stephen could benefit from this, so we can't trust him.
Yes.
We have picked 5 phrases or words that could be said during the keynote, and we have 10 total points that we can bet on each of these things happening or being said. So we can place as many points as we want. Whoever gets the most points totaled wins the point for the draft. We'll also take that person's points, multiply them by 10, and add them to the St. Jude total for either me or Steven. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. I'll add a little caveat here. Once we get to the end, if we want to adjust our point totals because we don't like it, then we can do that.
Yeah, that is the sportspersonship of the draft.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
That's how we work around here. The first phrase of which we can assign any of our 10 points to is next generation Siri.
Next generation Siri. Not a phrase they've used. And yet, I don't know. They want to get across that Siri is new. I'll put a point down.
You helped me significantly here because I thought that they had used that phrase. And
I don't think they have.
Whether they have or they haven't, we shouldn't look it up now because, draftcraft. But I was going to put all of my 10 points on this at one point. I decided not to do that in the sake of the game.
I'm going to redefine it. What's the phrase? I think the phrase is next generation in referring to Siri.
Yeah, I think that's good. I have one of that in a minute. I'm going to put 2 points down still, though.
Oh, okay. Well, interesting.
It's different to 10.
It is. Wow. All right. Good. Next.
Emmy Awards.
Emmy Awards. I'm going to put four.
Okay.
Apple loves their awards.
They sure do. And in July, they scored 72 nominations for the Emmys. So I'm sure that they will want to talk about that. They do love a good award ceremony. I'm going to say 2, though, because this is will they have? I mean, we'll find out what we think about that. If they don't have that segment, they're not going to talk about it. Like the Emmy award-winning iPhone is probably not going to come up.
Maybe not.
The next is RAM or memory.
Okay.
In relation to the iPhone.
Yes.
So, and I want to state this now for we have lots of potential picks that we can make that say RAM, but again, if they say memory, I think that's also fine because we know what that means.
Yes. They're not going to refer to the storage as memory, right? Because they're not going to do that. They're much more technical than that. But they might think that memory is a much more friendly phrase, and that's fine.
Yep. So how many points are you going to assign for RAM?
I again reserve the right to change this later. I'm going to say 0.
Oh, okay. I'm saying 3.
Okay. They haven't before, but
Nope.
Apple Intelligence would be a reason to do it, and talking about the phones would be a reason to do it.
Let's put a pin in that.
Okay.
In that conversation for later on in the episode. Right. Google Gemini.
Yeah. Okay, I threw this in here because I think the question is, will they have an announcement of another, at WWDC, they actually even mentioned Google Gemini as a possible thing, but we've heard no reports of Apple and Google's negotiations about potentially bringing Google Gemini as a feed into Apple Intelligence, just as ChatGPT is. I do wonder if we will hear Apple mention Google Gemini, even if it's as a for example, but that would require a level of formality that I think is pretty powerful. And I'm for now, again, we'll get to the end and I'll see what I'm thinking here, but for now I'm going to say 0.
I'm going to say 3.
All right. You thinking there's a real possibility?
I think there's a possibility of a deal being done. Yeah, I do. It goes back to reporting from a lot earlier in the year, right? That Apple were trying to make this work, and Craig Federighi kept talking about them.
Yeah.
And the rumors were that it would be before the end of the year that they would do it, and I actually think it would behoove them to have another partner than OpenAI before they launch it. I think, and so
I agree.
Maybe it will be somebody else, right?
They?
Maybe it will be Claude. Maybe it will be something else. I don't know, but I think
it would be a good time to have it.
Yeah,
this would be a good time.
I do think that the Google's event where they showed off the Pixels, they spent so much time showing off other phones using Gemini that Google has a couple of things going on. One of them is they need to show that they are the future of search, and I think Gemini for them is a part of that, and I think it would be very beneficial for them to be on the iPhone, to be built into the iPhone.
In our WWDC episode, we talked about how having ChatGPT as a partner for Apple sort of made sense because their competitor in the smartphone landscape, Google, has Gemini, has its own AI system, and that ChatGPT, OpenAI, like they don't have their own operating system. They don't have that advantage. They've got their deal with Microsoft for Windows, but on a phone they don't have that. And so a deal with Apple, especially a deal where no money is changing hands and they're just providing it to Apple and all of that, I can see the reasons for that. It would be quite a coup for Google to say we are on all smartphones, right? That would be really good. And Google and Apple have relationships. It would actually kind of make sense. And Apple is obviously approaching this as, like a search engine, except even, without maybe the connotations of the default search engine issues that they're having. The idea of we don't care. Use whatever chatbot source you want. And so if they have Gemini in there, I think that makes them feel good because they're we got Gemini, we got ChatGPT, we got all the great ones. Pick your poison, whatever. And so it's good for Google, it's good for Apple. I would say, it's bad for OpenAI because now their arch rival is on both smartphone platforms, and that's harder for them. But too bad, right? So I think the real question is, has this deal been done? If they've done a deal and they've kept it quiet, if they've done the deal and they want to announce it, this is the perfect place to do it, right? Which is to say, not only all of this, but by the end of the year, not only ChatGPT, but also Google Gemini will be on the iPhone. But, that did they? Will they?
It is very, it's the reason that I'm confident this will happen at least at some point is it is very strange for an executive at Apple to say they want something publicly.
I know, right?
Yeah.
They mentioned it by name.
Yes. Very
they were not coy about it.
And they didn't say a list of things, right? It's not like he listed all of the popular. He just said Google Gemini. So it was part of the talk show. So it would be very strange, I think, for them to say it if they didn't want it. And if they want it, why would Google not do it? Realistically, why would Google not do it? And so I think there is a strong possibility that it will happen, but not 10 points strong.
Sure. Right.
Finally,
the last phrase.
Blow away.
Blow away. Everybody's favorite.
I hate it so much.
I hate it too.
Yeah.
I hate it. They used it last year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
It's very upsetting.
Well, I have 5 points left, so I guess they go here.
Oh, really? I'm putting
okay,
0
we're at the end
now,
so we can rejigger if we want to here.
Yeah, I feel happy with mine.
I'm going to put blow away down to 4 and take next generation up to 2.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'll leave them where they are.
So I'll just give a rundown of that. Next generation, in referring to Siri, Jason's put 2 points. I've put 2 points. Emmy Awards. Just basically, this is a reference of Emmys. If Emmys are mentioned, Jason gets 4 points. I get 2. RAM or memory, in referring to the iPhone, Jason has 0 points. I have 3. Google Gemini, Jason has 0. I have 3. And blow away, Jason has 4. I have 0. I like that there are some significant differences in here, so it could create some fun moments while we're watching the draft.
Absolutely.
And this will be one especially that we want you to help with. So, once you've watched the event, share your scorecards of us in Discord and on social media. Because this one, I remember being particularly difficult to keep track of.
This one's really hard.
This
we
is
need
hard.
the community to mark these off because
Make sure
we
we're
don't
getting them.
necessarily hear every word.
And remember, you can find the scorecard of your own by going to upgrade.cards, where you can see that.